So when you've been taught only to punch the volley, like you will see Kaya now demonstrate, the coaches keep reinforcing punch the ball, then players have a very tight wrist, and when they volley, they don't know how to make it softer. So here's the first drill I use to teach players how to have a softer wrist, so they just prepare. So we're gonna do forehand. I always just wanna make sure that this is not too tight, so they don't know what's coming, you also don't know what's coming. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to throw the ball into the racket like this. And when they're not falling, they will of course have some flexibility. You will see that the wrist lets go a bit, so you will see that from the side camera that the wrist lets go a bit, and that's what I want them to experience, because they've never experienced that, because all their life they're tightening the wrist when they're punching the ball, and they don't know how this is supposed to feel. So this is one way to give them the feel, to experience what does it mean. What does it mean to absorb the power of the ball? And so this is how it feels to them. And that's kind of their first aha moment to realize how to approach the drop volley.
So before we go on to drill number 2, let's take a look at the comparison of a typical volley. On the left side, that's a punch volley, and on the right side is a drop volley. So if we first take a look at the typical volley and we see the contact point, we look at the contact point and the wrist, then you're going to see that the racket just goes straight through the ball. There is no absorption of power. It pushes the ball away. And what we want on a drop volley is that when you look at the contact point here and you look at the wrist, then you're going to see that the racket kind of absorbs the power and it moves a little bit backward, right? So while the arm is pushing through, so the arm is going to keep pushing through, there's a moment of absorbing the energy, and that's what makes the ball go short here. Whereas on a typical volley, the racket just moves through the ball and it kind of adds power to it. So on this side, when I'm hitting a volley, I'm adding power, and on this side, I'm a little bit subtracting power so that I have less of power. And that's why we need to do drills to soften the wrist, to allow the racket to go backwards. And this is sometimes a problem for players who have been taught all the time to punch through the ball, and they can't really develop that feel. So you can give them a correct instruction, but they're unable to execute. And that's why I use my tricks in this video that you see. So I already saw trick number 1, and now we're gonna go to trick number 2 and later trick number 3.
So for the next drill, Kaya must not know what I'm going to do, because it has to be kind of like subconscious solution for her. That's why I told her to go a bit away. We'll see if it's going to work on the first try. So when players are put in a volley position and they've been punching the ball all the time, as soon as they're in a position somewhere to volley, their subconscious mind, their ingrained muscle memory is going to tighten the wrist, and they're unable to override it. So you have to use a trick to get them out of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass the ball to Kaya and tell her to catch it. Just here's the ball and catch it. So she won't know, and we'll see if she's going to be able to pass the ball to her. And that's like one trick that you kind of bypass the volley programming and show the player that they do have the soft hands that they want to use. They already have them, but they haven't associated them with the volley. Okay. This is going to be one drill, but you will need one ball. So I'll just give you one ball. Didn't work. Can you pass the ball to yourself with the racket? Here's one ball. Okay. That's what I wanted. So that's, yes, so that's one, okay, that's one option when the player is just going to catch the ball with the hand. But on the second try, you tell them, okay, don't catch with the hand, just catch with the racket. And so most players, most people are going to be able to pass the ball to their hand, no problem. They will just kind of do it, and you will show them and tell them, look, this is your drop volley. This is exactly the same process. As the ball is approaching you, you have a very soft hand, and you just pass the ball to yourself, and it's no big deal, right? So we do backhand. Yeah, it's okay. Here's the ball. And you don't think about the volley, you just think about here's the ball, and take this ball, and we're going to do one drill, right? So it's just like this, okay? So again, that's one trick that is going to help you kind of bypass the original programming of a firm wrist, the player will not even realize what happened, and then they will realize, oh, I can have a soft hand when I see the ball approaching. I don't always have to firm up, and that's what allows them to make this breakthrough so that they learn how to have softer hands at the net.
So if we take a look now at the typical backhand volley and a backhand drop volley, and I play them one time side by side so that you can see what's the difference at first. So when we take a look at a typical volley, punch volley, you're gonna see that at contact and through contact, the racket pushes through and the wrist is relatively firm. I'm extending through contact, I'm punching the ball, it goes here, there's an element of supination into the ball. So there's a punch into the ball and an extension because I want to give the ball power and stability. And if we take a look at the backhand drop volley, you're gonna see that the racket is gonna go a little bit backwards. So like this, it's going to absorb, so my wrist is going to absorb some of the energy of the ball in order to be able to play the ball short. So that's what we have to learn, and that's what we have to teach to the player. So visual, like video analysis helps a little bit. It definitely helps to create the right mental image, and then after that we also need the right drills. So now you're gonna see drill number 3 that helps develop such a skill.
So for drill number 3, we're going to use an exaggeration. I'm going to ask Kaya to volley, drop volley, but on her side of the net. So we're starting with an exaggeration, and then we're going to progress to volleying over the net. So this is just another way of trying to bypass the muscle memory from players who have very tight wrists, and they will struggle with this more than Kaya. So the ball will go over the net a couple of times when they try to do that, and so you just kind of wait to see until they have some success that they mostly are able to keep the ball on their side of the net. And when they can do it, you tell them, okay Kaya, now a real drop volley. You just add a little bit of energy to the ball. Yeah, sorry, here we go. You add a little bit energy to the ball to hit the right drop volley. So that's the progression number 3, drill number 3, to develop soft hands at the net.